You may remember that I have been making covers for some of my machines. This is the cover I made for my Imagine, and I did heat and bond applique on here, but I knew that I wanted to come back and do some free motion on it. So today I am going to be doing some free motion sewing, just to sew down the letters and the designs that I put on my machine. And you can see the heat and bond is coming up just a little bit there. So I'm going to take and go ahead and add a little bit of heat to that heat and bond so that it goes back down for me. And then I'm going to take it over to my sewing machine. The heat and bond doesn't like this fabric for long-term use apparently. But I'm going to go ahead and sew this all down. And I thought I would bring you guys along as I do it. What I have done is I've put my free motion foot, some people call it a hopping foot or an embroidery foot. I've put it onto my machine. I'm using my Baby Lock Jazz, and I have a 9014 needle in here. I'm using regular cotton thread in both the top and the bobbin, and I'm just going to do a quick around on this. I don't know what else to call it, but I'm going to go ahead and start putting the embroidery down on this and just let you watch what I do. And I'm trying to see if I've got you up close enough to be able to see. And my foot ran away. There it is. Okay, so we're going to start right here. And you'll be able to see this thread because I picked out some pretty blue. So what I'm doing today is I'm just doing some free motion quilting. It's not even really quilting, it's more like just applique. I used heat and bond to put some things down on my cover for my Imagine, and this material and the heat and bond don't like each other, so I am stitching it down. If I'd used heat and bond ultra, I wouldn't be able to stitch it, but I used heat and bond light, and I don't mind stitching this down. I think it'll look cute when it's all done. I'm using a blue because it kind of stands out, making sure that my presser foot's down. I've dropped my feed dogs, and now what I'm doing is I'm just doing a little bit of free motion. And I'm not necessarily breaking thread in between my letters. I can go back and trim that off. But you can see that some of the letters with the heat and bond have started coming off already. So I thought, well, let's go ahead and stitch them on. And even with my clear foot, it's still kind of hard to see the edges of the letters because they're on dark fabric. But I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to put it on best I can, clipping threads and going on to the next letter. This is a decorative piece in my little sewing room, so it's not gonna make me sweat. I'm just enjoying it. Let me snip that little thread out of the way so that I don't end up sewing it down into my applique. Like I said, I just dropped my feed dogs. I'm going around. I have it so that my needle lifts up whenever I finish stitching. And I just kind of want you to know that you don't have to be great at applique or anything else to do it for your own enjoyment. That's the biggest thing I'm trying to get through to you here. A couple of rounds around that dot for the eye. Go down here. One thing I've learned about applique stuff is that if you don't like the way it looks with one stitch around it, you're thinking, do two, do three. Freeform it. Make it match your room, your aesthetic. When it's all said and done, the only person who's going to see it is you. And if you enjoy it, that's what counts. Maybe after you're passed and someone else is cleaning up your sewing room, they go, oh, why did she do this? You won't care. They're not going to think badly of you anyway, because it'll be your kids or your husband or a relative cleaning it up, and all they're going to think is, oh, isn't it nice that mom, grandma, auntie did this? And then you can see I have jump threads in here. That's what they're called if you use an embroidery machine to do this stuff. And I could have done this on my embroidery machine, but I kind of felt like free motion quilting today. So I'm cutting the jump threads, I can say that word, on here. And I just watched somebody do hand embroidery, and believe me, I have no skill at hand embroidery, but I was thinking, she likes that, her kids are gonna like it, you know. It's not going to hurt anything if it's not professional level. If you were selling it, it might be one thing. But I'm not selling mine. I'm just sewing things because I want to. And I did this one before we got on camera this morning. And I'm just cutting jump threads there too. As you can see, mine's not perfect, but I really like it. It works for my sewing room, and that's what counts. I'm going to give that up. That's what it's all about, is making things work for you. And this is literally a dust cover to go on my Imagine sewing machine. No one's going to see it. The only thing it's for is to keep dust off of my serger. So let's